What is happening, Internet's K-Wing here, and this is your Bat News, or rather a quick recap of last night's live podcast on Keaton coming back to Batman, officially now. Remember, he was rumored 6 or 7 months ago to be attached to the Flash project, but wasn't really confirmed until about, I'd say, 2.5 months ago. The director of the Flash movie confirmed that Keaton was, in fact, in that movie, and may or may not be attached to other DC films. Well, news dropped yesterday around, I guess it was 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, that Keaton would be replacing Ben Affleck as the DCEU Batman going forward, and being the Batman of the multiverse, more or less. Not only would that be the interesting thing, but there would be two Batmen appearing simultaneously in movies. One being Robert Pattinson of Earth 2, and the other being Bruce Wayne of whatever universe Keaton ends up being a part of. This also would give Keaton the end to his Batman trilogy, one that never happened. It went Batman 89, Batman Returns, and then nothing else. Now, a lot of people are speculating that the reason why Batman was brought back to DC Films is because they want to do a Batman Beyond vehicle, and the best actor with the star power and the nostalgia to do this is Michael Keaton. Because, I mean, Ben Affleck, for a lot of people, is Batman for the DC Films. However, the future of the character is unknown at this time. Now, a lot of these plans could change if the Snyder Cut is successful in a few months. But if it's not, then this is definitely what's going to be happening with DC Films, going with the Michael Keaton route and the graceful exit for Ben Affleck in The Flash 2022. So there's a lot of different variations for the Batman Beyond thing that I've heard, and that some are pretty troubling and others are just kind of like, yes, do that. The troubling aspect is Batgirl being the Batman Beyond character instead of Terry McGinnis. And the Batgirl movie has been in development off and on for some time, and the writer of Bumblebee is still attached to that, but she is also now the writer for the Flash movie. So it's very likely that you would see Batgirl show up in either the Flash or possibly Michael Keaton's film, unless they want to listen to the purists at DC as well, who want Terry McGinnis to be that teenager that is relatable to the age group of 13 to 18 and up, because they really don't have that character, that Spider-Man-esque character in the DC cinematic universe. You could argue that character is Shazam, but I think Terry McGinnis carries a lot more weight than Shazam does. No offense to Zachary Levi, of course, but having Terry McGinnis in would be a very big thing. The problem is DC executives don't see the potential of Terry McGinnis, just the idea of a teenage superhero being mentored by Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne as the next Bat person. But what people don't understand is that Batman Beyond doesn't work without Terry McGinnis. Terry McGinnis actually has a huge following. A lot of fans love him. He's a character that people have been waiting to see in film, and I just hope that DC does the right thing and allows for Terry McGinnis to be the Batman of the future. Now, another key reason that Michael Keaton is being brought into this is because a lot of people want to see Keaton back as Batman. Years ago, when a fan asked Michael Keaton about Batman Beyond, he said he would be down to come back for Batman, but the most important aspect of that is Tim Burton had to be attached to the project. For whatever reason, fast forward to 2020, Michael Keaton is on board with the idea of coming back, and as far as I know, Tim Burton is not attached to the project. You have a different director. Their name escapes me, so I'll put it in the description. But the Flash director specifically wanted Michael Keaton because he really enjoyed his performance in Batman 89 and Batman 92, and let's face it, the director grew up with that version of Batman. So who wouldn't want to bring Michael Keaton back, right? This has a lot of different possibilities that's good, but at the same time, there are some people that are also concerned about the age of Michael Keaton and what type of role he would have as Batman, or, quote, the Nick Fury character that's rumored to go around, with having Michael Keaton basically take up Ben Affleck's role in the DC shared universe, or DC EU, Worlds of DC, whatever they're calling it these days. And I really believe that it'll be a mentor role. I think that Michael Keaton is the perfect age, 68, 70, to be that older, grumpier Bruce Wayne who sometimes has savage one-liners with Terry McGinnis, as well as imparting words of wisdom, at the same time being that very stern boss over the computer and stuff like that. So the only problem I have with Keaton's Batman being the Batman Beyond Batman, and this is kind of a big reason to his character, in the animated series by, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm and Alan Burnett, Batman was a character that didn't kill. Keaton, we know that's not the case. Keaton was a murderous Batman. So the reasoning for Batman to retire, I really don't know how that would work based on the characterization of Batman that Keaton had, which was the 1940s Bob Kane, Bill Finger Batman, which was, a very murderesque Batman. The whole idea of Batman being forced to retire his war on crime because of having a heart attack and picking up a gun and, almost shooting somebody was such a huge wake-up call to Bruce that he had to retire. Keaton, that same thing wouldn't really apply. He's done everything from using bombs, flamethrowers. I don't think him picking up a handgun and pointing it at a criminal would be an epiphany moment for him. So I'd be very curious to see how they pull this off. I'm very excited about the future of this. I'm pretty sure we're going to be revisiting this topic in March because it all weighs on the Snyder Cut. Now, don't get me wrong, Keaton is attached to the Flash movie, and Batman Beyond is something definitely that Walter Yamada wants to do, and a lot of DC executives and fans want to see a Batman Beyond movie, and this is a perfect time to do that before the Spider-Man 3 stuff, to try to get that off the ground as quickly as they can, because we kind of need that younger superhero to appeal to the Spider-Man fans, and that's what Terry McGinnis was. Terry McGinnis was a very different take on Batman, and very popular in 1999, almost had a movie several times, but it just couldn't get off the ground. So now really feels like the time. However, what I really want DC executives to consider, and Warner Media and AT&T, is that if you do Batman Beyond, it has to be both Bruce Wayne and Terry McGinnis. It can't be Barbara Gordon. It can't be Dick Grayson. It has to be Terry, because Terry is a complete opposite of all the Robins and all the Bat persons to work with Batman, and it brings out a different side to Bruce that is very father-like, more so than he was with Grayson and his Robins than we've seen before, and I would like to see those vulnerabilities portrayed by Keaton, which we did get to see a lot of his human element in his movies, so I think that this is the perfect opportunity to do this. But like I said, everything could change. Everything could completely change if Zack Snyder's Justice League miniseries is a hit and Ben Affleck stays on as a DC shared Batman. But I love the idea of two Batman simultaneously in theaters at the same time, whether it's the younger version of Battinson's Earth 2 or a Batman Beyond type movie with Michael Keaton. I think that audiences are ready and they want it. But anyway, people, that's going to do it. If you want to check out my longer podcast, which was 2.5 hours of all kinds of stuff, you can feel free to listen to it if you want to. But hopefully this bite-sized edition gives you the same news with less of whatever it is I was talking about up until 1, 2 a.m. Apologies, but I was kind of running full-blown on brisk iced tea at that point. 4 or 5 cans, by the way. Little announcements. I have to retweak the Batgirl / Gotham Knights villains video number 2 because of DMCA stuff and some other things. So I'm concerned about things, so it has to be redone. And also there will be another podcast for Batman on the next Batman, DC Future State, sometime this week. I want to basically read the issue on the air, share my thoughts live and talk about why it's good or why it's bad with all of you as kind of like my, sounding board or whatever, audience interaction. I can't really think of words this early in the morning, but we'll also be doing more Assassin's Creed because I want to finish the Yule thing. But that's it. That's all, people. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great morning.